Anxiety doesn't just steal your peace, it robs you of your voice, your power, your presence, one invisible moment at a time. Let's go through what it actually looks like. I know that you are going to relate to this. You open your eyes in the morning and you're already feeling behind. Before you've even checked your phone, your brain is literally scanning for everything that can go wrong. Your jaw is clenched, your chest feels tight. You didn't sleep deeply again because your mind just never shut off. You walk into your kitchen, but your thoughts are louder than your footsteps. You're thinking about the email that you haven't replied to, or maybe it's that person you might have upset, or maybe it's the meeting that you're dreading later. You pour your coffee, but you don't even feel the taste of it because you're not really here in this moment. You're actually 10 steps ahead in defense mode, just bracing for impact. So where do you turn? Your phone, of course. You scroll looking for peace, but instead you find comparison. Now you have thoughts like someone else is further ahead, more confident, more successful, and suddenly your breath gets shallow. Your stomach just knots up. You had big plans today, but the thought of being seen, being judged, possibly failing, it hijacks your entire nervous system. So you clean the kitchen instead. You get organized, you stay productive, but you're not actually moving forward. You're staying safe. And really, that is the scariest part about all of this. Anxiety doesn't feel like fear. It feels like logic, like safety, like control, like you're doing the right things until one day you look back and realize you've been living the same day for 5 years. And oh man, whew, that really hits heavy and deep. And I truly think this is the scariest part about struggling with your brain health. The fact that you end up reliving the same dysfunctional pattern and loop for basically your entire life. What I need you to see here in today's video is that anxiety is expensive. It is extremely expensive, and every single day it is costing you. Let me tell you what my anxiety really cost me. It wasn't just the sleepless nights or the tight shoulders, which I still struggle with, or the headaches that I pretended were from dehydration. It was whole chapters from my life. It was my potential that I buried so deep that I even forgot it was mine. It was costing me the joy I couldn't access, even though it was right in front of me, or my sense of peace that I didn't even know I had permission to feel. It cost me opportunities. There are videos I never filmed. Not because I didn't have something powerful to say, but because I couldn't bear the idea of someone misunderstanding me, of being judged by a stranger online, of a peer thinking that maybe I was too much. So instead of trying to build my brand, I built mental arguments in my head with people who never even said anything, and I stayed small. There are emails I wrote and never sent, drafts that sat in my inbox for days, messages to brands I dreamed about working with that I deleted because I thought they'll never choose me. Meanwhile, less qualified, less passionate, but less afraid people, they ended up getting those opportunities because they asked. I remember walking into rooms and just immediately shrinking myself, scanning for exits, checking my phone, just so I didn't look awkward. And I would walk out without speaking up because my anxiety would just tell me that I didn't belong. And I'd tell myself they're just more confident. But here's the truth I had to face. They're not braver. They just stopped waiting for permission. While I was still trying to be ready, spoiler alert, ready is a lie that anxiety tells you to keep you from living your life. It cost me connection. I've ghosted people I actually wanted to be friends with. Amazing women, kind souls, people who saw me, but my nervous system, it saw a threat. It couldn't handle the vulnerability of showing up consistently, so I bailed. I left texts unanswered. I declined invites, not because I didn't want to go, but because I couldn't handle the spiral before getting there. The spiral of, what should I wear? What if I'm awkward? What if I say something stupid? What if no one talks to me? So what would I do? I would stay home, put in a face mask, light a candle, and I would tell myself, this is just self-care. I need to take a break. I've been doing too much. But deep down, I knew it was fear in disguise. And you know what? That bath bomb doesn't make loneliness go away. Anxiety turns connection into confrontation with yourself. And I lost years of deep friendships because of that. Anxiety's cost me lots of money. Not because I wasn't capable of making it, but because I didn't feel safe holding it. You don't hear people talking about it, but it's real. Having more money triggered my nervous system. I'd open my bank account and I would feel overwhelmed having thousands and thousands of dollars just sitting there. It just felt like pressure, like responsibility. Like the more that I had, the more that I had to lose. So I would just spend it. I justified it as investing in myself, but half the time it was just me trying to get rid of the discomfort of holding abundance. I bought things I didn't need. I said yes to coaching containers that didn't feel aligned. I made decisions from fear, not alignment, because deep down my subconscious believed if I have less, I'll feel less anxious. But I just ended up with more regret. Anxiety will make you subconsciously sabotage what you say you want, just so your body can feel safe. And that realization broke me when I realized how much I had truly sabotaged in my life so that my body could feel safe. I didn't realize that my internal thermostat for success, love, and all the good things in my life was set so low that I would just bring myself back to that low spot in that moment, even if I felt the slightest bit of high. I've even been in dream moments where I'm traveling, living in different countries, being on the beach, which is my absolute favorite spot, with the people that I love the most, and I still couldn't feel peace because my mind was just running in these loops. I was thinking about what I said earlier, if other people are judging me right now, and worst of all, which I still sometimes to this day struggle with, that thought of should I be doing something more productive. I've watched sunsets I don't remember. I've been hugged while my mind was in a different dimension. I've laughed while simultaneously worrying about whether I was laughing too loudly. It's like my body was in the room, but my soul was stuck in surveillance mode, just constantly watching, bracing, performing, and unable to truly drop in, unable to truly feel the joy of the present moment. And that's the funny thing about anxiety. It convinces you that if you just think hard enough, plan for enough, and protect yourself long enough, you'll finally feel safe. But you never do. Instead, you just lose precious time, and that's a resource you're never going to get back. Anxiety was really good at convincing me that the only safe place for me to live was in my head, where I could plan, control, and predict my life, and boy, did I get really good at playing that role. It took me a really long time to realize that living in your head isn't actually living. It's managing your existence. So you don't feel it too deeply. It's kind of like you're just watching your life happen behind a glass wall. And all that joy, all that love, and all that freedom that you want, it can't reach you when there's a glass wall there. And here's what's even more painful. Anxiety doesn't just cost you what you lose, it costs you who you never got to become. Let that really sink in. What I really want you to realize in this video today is that anxiety is not a weakness. It's a learned pattern. It's rooted in protection, and it is fueled by misfired safety signals in your brain. What happened is that your brain learned that somewhere along the way, attention wasn't safe. That slowing down meant danger. That love was conditional, that your value came from being perfect, prepared, or even productive. So now your nervous system is simply doing its job. This is what it's actually used to. It's keeping you safe from things that it thinks are a threat, but actually aren't. And anxiety isn't just a thought loop, it's a body loop. When you're anxious, it's not just your thoughts that feel out of control, but also parts of your body. It's also your cortisol, your stress hormone, completely flooding your system. It causes shallow breathing, tight fascia. It's your vagus nerve stuck in sympathetic loop. It's your nervous system signaling danger everywhere you look. Overcoming this isn't about forcing confidence. It's about retraining your brain and body to believe that peace is safe, that success won't destroy you, that visibility won't kill you, that joy isn't dangerous. So let me ask you something. Who are you without the fear? Not just the fear of failing, but the fear of being seen, of taking up space, of choosing who you want to be without waiting for someone else to approve of it first. Who are you when you're not walking into every situation on edge, just scanning the room, rating the energy, wondering if you said too much or not enough, or if your vibe is off today, or like, who are you when your nervous system isn't fighting for that survival? What does it feel like to wake up and not feel dread in your chest? To just trust the timing of your life, to finally stop second guessing your every word, your every move, your every decision. Close your eyes for a second. Like, please just actually do it here. You have a second, close your eyes and just imagine this picture that I'm describing to you here. You walk into a room and your shoulders are relaxed. You're not bracing for judgment. You're not calculating how to be liked. You're not performing. You are simply present. Your voice doesn't shake when you speak because you're no longer talking through the filter of self-doubt. You're not editing yourself in real time. You're not replaying what you said on the drive home. You're not apologizing for existing. You just are. You are the unfiltered, rooted, and safe version of you. And this version of you, they're not 5 years away. They're not waiting on another certification, on reading another book, or another breakthrough. They're right here. They're already within you. They're just buried under years of people pleasing, buried under nervous system responses you didn't choose, buried under the need to be liked, to be perfect, to be enough. You don't need to become someone else. You don't need to fix yourself. You don't need to force confidence. You need to come home to the version of you who was never broken, just overprotected. Because the truth is, the real you is not scared. They're strategic. They're intuitive. They're magnetic. They're powerful. The problem is that they just never felt safe enough to fully show up. You've spent years building your life around avoiding worst case scenarios, but what happens when you build it around your best case identity instead? That's the work that I do. I don't just teach nervous system regulation, I help people rebuild their entire inner foundation through mindset, nutrition, movement, sleep, and targeted supplements that support the brain and body as a system. Because if your blood sugar is crashing all day, if your gut is inflamed, if you're not sleeping deeply, your body will stay stuck in survival mode, no matter how many affirmations you repeat. So we go deeper. We clear the mental clutter. We calm the physiological chaos. We teach your body how to feel safe in stillness, strong in movement, nourished by food, and stable enough to hold success without self-sabotage. We don't just treat the anxiety. We built the version of you who no longer needs it. And when your entire system is working for you, not against you, everything changes. Your mood steadies. Your energy returns, your creativity flows, your voice sharpens, your self-trust deepens, and your presence becomes magnetic. Because when your body is aligned, when your mind is clear, when your system feels safe, your soul stops hiding and your real power leads. Let's take a moment right now to do some of that real work. I want you to take a deep breath in through your nose and sigh it out through your mouth. Here are 5 questions I want you to reflect on that will tell you how much your anxiety is truly costing you. So question number 1, where has anxiety made you say no to something you desperately wanted to say yes to? Look back, don't judge yourself, just get honest. Was it a dream, maybe a relationship, or maybe it was a specific moment? Question number 2, what does your anxiety make you believe about yourself that might not actually be true? Is it that you're not capable? That you're too much? Or maybe it's that you'll always be this way. I know for me, my anxiety has always made me feel like I am too much. Question number 3, how does anxiety show up in your body and what's your go-to escape from it? Is it scrolling, overeating, or maybe it's trying to control everyone and everything around you? How are these go-to escapes affecting your life? I know for me, I would constantly overeat and this prevented me from ever getting close to my dream body. Question number 4, if your anxiety was trying to protect you, what do you think it's been keeping you safe from? It could be rejection, or maybe failure, or maybe it's the fear of being seen. A lot of us struggle with that one. And the last question, question 5, what would become possible if anxiety no longer had a final say in your life? And really let yourself dream here. What would be different if fear was no longer calling the shots? If you can, take a moment to really reflect on these questions. Write down your answers because awareness is the first step to getting the freedom that you want. So what now? The way that I see it, you essentially have 2 options. You can either keep playing small, keep calling it being realistic, keep shrinking your voice, your dreams, your presence, and pretending it's strategy. You can keep hiding behind the anxiety and convincing yourself it's wisdom, that you're being careful, that now is not the right time, that maybe someday you'll feel ready. But let's be honest, that story has never set you free. It's just made your world even smaller. Or you can look your fear in the face and say the words that signal your next chapter. You can say, thank you for protecting me, but I don't need you to lead anymore. Because protection is not the same as purpose. Survival is not the same as success. Fear got you this far, but freedom is asking you to take over. And your future self, they're watching. They see everything you've sacrificed just to feel safe. They see your brilliance locked behind the bars of what if. And they're not asking for perfection, they're asking for presence, for power, for just one moment of courage for you to say yes to who you really are. Not the anxious version, not the overthinking version, the fully expressed, unapologetic, powerful you. They're counting on you to show up. Not perfect, but real, rooted, and finally free. So if your chest is tight right now, if your throat is closing just a little, if your eyes are burning because you finally feel seen, that's not fear, that's truth. That's the part of you that's done living half alive. If you're tired of circling the same patterns, of knowing you're capable of more but not knowing how to access it, book a 15-minute clarity call with me completely free. This isn't a pitch, it's a pause. It's a place for you to breathe, to just take off the mask, to tell the truth about what anxiety is really costing you. And then we get to work together. We'll figure out what's actually driving your fear. We'll unpack the nervous system patterns, the mindset blocks, the hidden stressors in your body so we can rebuild your foundation with clarity, safety, and strength. Because the life you want, the presence, the power, the peace, it's not found in another productivity hack. It's found in getting to the root. And that journey starts with one choice. If you're in, the link is in the description. I'll be waiting for you. Let's get you free.